right, bro. So I'm actually very excited to do this because, well, first we'll do some intros and stuff after this, but I've always wanted to create a series on YouTube or Instagram, anything where people can just see inside of the minds of like the people behind Brown Ballers and what we're doing, because I think we get a lot of questions around what is Brown Ballers, what is this basketball team, what is this football team, how did you guys create it? So I'm actually really happy that you're down to do this with me, and we can create this series talking about the coaches, the players, me and you, and then what we're trying to do with Brown Ballers FC. So I'm really excited. So I just want to say thank you for coming in and putting yourself out there so we can do this.
No, thank you very much, Naveen. And I think it's actually a privilege and an honor for me as well, because I remember when I first came across the Brown Ballers platform, and I reached out and I was like, I really like what you guys are doing. It was another platform that we had that was promoting South Asian athletes, badly needed. It's something that I think has been missing over the years to really propel us on a big stage. And when I saw someone who had the
Mhm.
same kind of mindset and ideals and values as me, and when we spoke the first time, which was like I think a couple of years ago, we aligned in our
Yeah.
thought process and what we were trying to achieve. So I always knew there'll be an opportunity come up where we could work together, and it's presented itself this year.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy that. Well, we'll give some more context to everybody, but I'm happy it's worked out this year, like you said. So the first thing let's do, I guess, there's gonna be people who don't know me, who don't know Brown Ballers, who won't know you. So kind of a quick intro, then I'll pass you the mic to do the same. My name is Nav. I'm one of the co-founders of Brown Ballers. We are literally trying to build and grow the largest nonprofit platform in the world for South Asian athletes. I know a lot of people watching this will already follow us, and if you don't, please go follow us on Instagram. But the goal for us is literally just to tell the stories of South Asian athletes across every single sport you can imagine, create documentaries, have pro team scholarships, and kind of do it all under this, incredible umbrella where like we can bring a guy like Z who's in Europe right now and I'm in Canada, and we can all come together to build something bigger. How about you, Z? Tell us a little bit about Z and how you got into this and kind of like what this also means to you, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'll give you a background. So, I'm from the ancient era of traditional journalism, print journalism, and that was like my kind of desire and goal to reach to become a sports journalist from when I was like 8 9 years old. And being brown, the there wasn't that visibility out there that say that you this could be a career choice. But I don't know, there was something inside me that was like a personal drive and a hunger to want to work towards that goal. I've always been a big sports fan. Watched sports from the age of 6 7 years old. Played it as well recreationally. Never played at any good standard that's worth talking about, and I would never feature in one of our platforms. But the next best thing was to kind of document the story and tell our story as well. And I think I was greatly interested in journalism and storytelling from a very young age. And I just love the effect they had on people. So I'll give an example. Like my dad used to read newspapers when I was young, and he'd always talk about the stories that he's reading in newspapers, right? In conversation, either with my mum or with myself, or in family parties. And that clicked in my head, like how powerful this device is, this newspaper media is, that
Mhm.
it really like can shape conversations and can influence people as well. And I thought, well, why not be someone who's involved in that kind of shaping and influencing, but in a positive and progressive way. So I've been involved in journalism. It's come up to 20 years now. Started
Wow.
in at university, wrote for the university magazine, but my first role was as a sports reporter for a newspaper called Eastern Eye, which was targeted towards the British South Asian community. It's quite one of the biggest sellers at the time. This is before pre-internet and pre social media. And my role there was to profile South Asian athletes from Britain in a way that hadn't been done before. And that was the mission. And I just caught the bug, and I was like, I love telling our stories.
I loved
And
it.
then we got to the point where the internet was taking over. You saw the news channels. There were 24-hour rolling news. Working for a newspaper wasn't enough. My appetite for telling a story was bigger than just being in a newspaper. I wanted to tell a story to a bigger audience, because the newspapers are quite selective in terms of who will purchase that copy, whereas the internet had that infinite kind of reach. And my bosses at the time, admittedly, were not fond of it. They saw it as a threat. Whereas for me, I was like ready to embrace this new era, and that's when I started a platform called Desi Ballers in 2010. The thought was always to start it at some point. I had this idea for like good 2-3 years before I actually started, and I was speaking to a lot of
Of
people at the
course.
time. And what propelled it was I was having a lot of conversation with people involved in sport who were brown, both at grassroots, community level, but also at the professional and boardroom level as well. And I was like, I want the world to see what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. I want more people to see what I see because I'm surrounded by some very, very inspirational individuals, whether they be chairman of football clubs, whether they be playing on the pitch. And you're thinking, well, people know about these stories. If more people knew, maybe we can inspire more people. So I went on my own, started an independent platform in July 2010. Roll on 15 years. We're here, still telling the story. And we're having young cats like yourself coming through as well, who are taking the storytelling to a whole new level. As someone who's like getting towards the twilight years of life and all that, I'm like, look, we'll be honest, right?
Yeah.
Once you hit 40, people think you're too old. You're prehistoric, right? So I thought, you know what? For me to, I feel this is a way of like connecting with young people, but also passing the baton over. And for me, like I said before in the conversation we started about Brown Ballers, when I saw the account, I was like, the way of storytelling. There was your account. There was another account. I think Amazon. Is it Amazing or
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing?
Yeah.
Right. I was
Yeah.
like,
That's a friend too.
this is elite storytelling, but it's about us. Um,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. Like for me, I look at opportunities. I look at people who are making waves in our community, who are doing things both on and off the pitch, and then it becomes a duty. I think it's a moral obligation for all of us to then support the good things that are happening. And that's my story. Like I've kind of condensed 15, 20 years in like a short space of time, but my kind of ethos and philosophy has all been about telling our story on one hand, but supporting those who are pushing the boundaries for us, and get to a place where we don't just want to be accepted, we want to excel and be champions. And if
Hmm.
you look at
Yeah.
some of the storytelling that you be on your account, there's champions, there's winners, and they contribute what largely to the success of to a team as well. So that without having to tell people that that's what we do, we can just show it here.
I love that, man. I also love that. Obviously, I didn't really click into like the age. It doesn't matter to me anyway. But I love that we have someone like I call you like more experienced, more seasoned that's coming into what we're doing. Because over the next 6 months, as we put the team together and build everything out, I know there's going to be a lot of knowledge and experience that you have that's going to be brought towards what we're doing too. And I'm sure vice versa too. But that gets me excited because in the past, for let's say the basketball team or other things we've done, is sometimes everyone's the same age. So it's almost like the same across the board, right? So for me, it's really nice to see that there's someone like yourself, and again, you've done it since the print days, which again is not a normal thing. So you've seen the ebbs and flows of the media changing, the different stories to tell, and you've also evolved with the times, right? And Daisy Balls is I mean, even today I saw like 7 stories you posted, right? And every time you post a story, it's just like, okay, I didn't know this footballer was here. I didn't know this person existed. Like that's what we're all trying to
Yeah,
do, right? That's why I love that you're doing it. I love that you're hyper focused on football, and I feel like you know it so well, and you know the players like that no one else knows. Like you already, I know this guy, I know this girl, I know where they're playing. I think that's really cool.
I think it comes down to like I guess for yourself as well, when you meet an athlete and you speak to them, you realize there's the human side, and then there's something exceptional about them that they're doing. And we talk about elite sport as well. How many people in a lifetime will ever achieve that opportunity to play elite? It's like
Right.
what you call the 1% club, isn't it? And
Mhm.
like I said to you, like if we can tell our stories far and wide, let it be known. Like if you didn't know about someone, then it becomes a duty, right? To let people know and then say, right, now you know about this person, remember the name, but without saying remember the name. So in terms of storytelling, it's not just a one story. It's not just a one post. It's not just a one achievement that they've got. We want to follow it in the way that you follow a season, right? You follow the whether it's the
Mhm.
NBA or NFL, you're following the narrative of the season, and that's how I like to cover our athletes, and you are the same as well.
No, I love it, man. Look, like I said, I'm excited. So to give some more context, I guess even just to you too, because I'm not sure if we had talked about this in the past, but obviously, we've done the basketball team. Everybody's seen that. So it's going on our fourth year now doing the basketball team. Ebbs and flows, ups and downs. We had a lot of huge successes, and hopefully this year will be another big year for us. But something that I've always been trying to push for and really wanting us to do is stepping into any other sport. And obviously, we're lucky that this $1 million tournament exists that we're going to talk about for football and for soccer. We tried to do it last year, which I don't know if you remember. Obviously, it just didn't work out with funding, and there's so many X's and O's that have to kind of line up. And then this year kind of came together at the fourth quarter buzzer beater type situation for us, where we're like, okay, we were able to secure some funding, and big thanks to Parth and Tej for helping us fund the initial part of this team. And it was still a lot more work and things for us to do, but I'm just excited that as a platform for what we're doing, we can diversify to, in my opinion, probably you can say, I'm not talking about cricket, but just in North America and Europe and stuff, I think football and soccer is like the top sport, regardless, most viewership, biggest superstars, biggest everything. So I'm excited for us to step into that world because I think it's going to open up all new doors, not only for the nonprofit, but like for all of us involved because we're the pioneers leading it. And then hopefully similar to what we did for our basketball team, where some guys will go get offers or get looks based on how they played. Hopefully, I hope that our platform in this TST tournament we go far, and who knows where our guys go or our coaches go after. That's exciting.
I think that if we go back to the conversation when we first spoke about TST, and it's on the back of your kind of foray into TBT, um, and we were just trying to find a way to align with each other in terms of what it means for us
Mhm.
to enter. And I think what I want to let people know is it wasn't a decision taken lightly to enter. Right, we have to ensure that we align our values, align what we're
Yeah.
trying to achieve, and what the end goal is as well. Now, from on the one side, to know the representation part absolutely plays a part in this. That we're entering a team of brown ballers or South Asian ballers to enter a team in a competition where it's high stakes and high prizes, right, and high rewards. But I think one thing was clear from all of us when we had the conversation, just to let people know into like what happens in that inner circle conversation, is that our first and last point with this team is we want to put a team together that's got the desire to win. That's
Mhm.
that's that's key for all of us. I mean, taking part is great, but we're not sacrificing and we're not making this massive investment, both time, money, emotional, physical, and working cross Atlantic as
Mhm.
well. If we don't have that desire inside of us, say that goal is to go out to win. Now, there's 31 other teams that are going to be playing, and like any tournament, every team has to have that desire to win. We want to give it the tournament the respect. We want to say we're not here just to make up the numbers. We want to take part. We're going to win, and it's only respectful to both the spectators who are going to be turning up, the organisers, but also to ourselves as well to have a team that's worthy of winning. And I think that was key in all our conversations was: do we believe that there is a pool of players that we can put together that can go to win? I think we all say yes because maybe one side is delusion, on the other side is this hyper kind of confidence, and I think you need a bit of both.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't like to get involved in things or put my name to anything which I don't believe that I can give it the 100%. Because it's not fit. It's in these kind of things when we're coming together that there's a lot of individuals involved, and you mentioned a few of them, and we'll be talking about them as the weeks go on as well about how many people are involved in this. That we have to be fair on each other, and that's the key part. Where it's always nice to come together and take part in these competitions, but the ultimate goal is to win. And I want to have that confidence from now up until the end. We don't know what's going to happen at the tournament itself. It's exciting. Been watching some of the footage from the previous year, and you're like, I can see ourselves there. I can see ourselves on the pitch. That's the key
Yeah.
part. I can visualize that, and I can't wait to tell that story as well, both on the pitch and then from the platform perspective of telling that story off the pitch as
Mhm.
well.
I love that. A couple things. So, like, the first thing is, since again, as you said, the initial phone calls, Zooms, all the things that we were all doing, me, you, Paris, Amric, Gotham G was there too. As we started to have more conversations and it was just us and smaller groups, like what I really always appreciated was just like you just talked about the mindset around first we're aligned in our values. Okay. So we all agree that what we're trying to do and achieve, we're aligned. We're similar people in what we want to get to. But then from there, it's like you guys are focused on like again, how do we create this competitive team? It's not let's just go out there and high five everybody. Hey, we're here. We're brown ballers. We're happy to be here. No, it's like we deserve to be here, but we want to, we want to beat y'all. Like we want to beat you. That's the whole point. And like every conversation you guys have, when I talk to Paris separately or you guys in the group, it's always the same thing. Like we need to create a competitive team and we need to put all the BS to the side and we need to have everyone kind of come together for the bigger purpose, but understand that like this is going to help everybody. Every game we win is going to help every single person on this team. So I've always like loved that. I just mentioned a few names. So as we do more of this content, Paris is our GM. We'll bring him on hopefully soon. We got Amric, as our head coach, who's hopefully will come on soon. But for right now, we also have you and as the assistant GM, right? Can you explain like what that role means to everyone listening and kind of what they can expect you to be doing throughout this next year?
So the that's an interesting question. It's like one of those ones where you're like, okay, what is the assistant GM role and what am I actually doing, right? I was speaking to Paris earlier. I said, you know what, I'm the bibs and cones guy. The ones who's gonna put the cones down for the training sessions and give the bibs out and give the water, right? Be the water boy. Ultimately, look, in terms of my role, it's playing to my strengths of the connections that I have with the football scene here in the UK and Europe, scouting players, speaking to them, and just putting the roster together in line with Paris and Amric, and also I guess looking at what we're trying to do outside of the players as well in terms of the commercial aspects, the social media side, the content. So it's like an all encompassing role I'm playing. I don't know if there is a job description for an assistant GM, but for my role, it's like both on and off the pitch, using networks
Yeah.
and connections, bringing the players together, and then also make sure that we're aligning to our milestones as we're going through the next
Yeah.
4 months now, isn't it? I think it's less than 4 months away. It
Yeah.
felt when we spoke in November, it felt like a lifetime away, and we're very much
Crazy.
flying through 2025 already. So before we know it,
Yeah.
the summer will hit us, and we'll be sweltering in Carolina.
Yeah, we'll be playing in North Carolina, which yeah. So let's touch on TST real quick, and then we can kind of move into like some of the aspects around the team. So again, for those who don't know, the soccer tournament, it's $1 million soccer tournament, just like how we play in basketball every year. But obviously, it's a lot different, right? It's not 11-11; it's 7v7, so 7-on-7 per side. Some different rules, a little bit faster paced. It ends on a goal, so similar how in basketball you have to go to a target score. The soccer games end on a goal, which is really cool. 48 teams round robin, then you go into the single elimination. So the what I love about this, there's a lot of things I love about the football game compared to the basketball side, but from Brown Ballers, our side, and I'm curious what you think too. I love the fact that we just get at least a few games, because the basketball is tough. You do all this stuff, you raise all this money, you go and you just, you could win or you go lose and you go home. It's like, oh shoot, this whole year was kind of like tough, right? But I love that we get multiple games to compete and show what we do and improve on things. But I'm curious, like as you watch the rules and gameplay, like as a football, fanatic, what do you love most?
I think that there's an unpredictability about TST compared to a normal tournament. So I've taken part in tournaments in the summers. And it's normally a normal format. You have a group stage, and it goes into knockout, and that's straight. Whether like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, it's just straight football. Here, you've got the element of surprise. You've got there's small nuggets in between the games which keeps it exciting for the spectators, but you almost have to be prepared for it as well.
Right.
So it's not your traditional it's not, you can't coach this team to play a traditional game. They almost have to be aware of some of these things that are going to be in play, and that kind of affects what's going to be in the roster, like what we need in terms of the players. We can't have one type player that's going to be, as in we have to have different profiles of players, is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
um the biggest factor, I think, especially coming from UK and anyone who's been to the UK, the weather, I think, is going to play the biggest part.
Okay.
Because I don't think football here is not a summer sport other than when you play the tournaments. But in terms of competitive league, it takes place in the colder seasons. Um, and our players may not be used to the humidity and the weather, which is going to be
Right. The heat.
interesting. So I think
Mm.
in
Yeah.
terms of preparation for that, I was looking at a couple of places where we might be able to do like some hot weather training. But I don't know. I think I'm going to touch upon you and say, how do we prepare for this heat? Because we can ball, but playing in the heat is a completely different story, isn't it?
Yeah, that's see, I like that you're thinking differently because that's gonna be something that unless you have that football knowledge and experience, you're not really gonna clue in to think about. So that's a good point for us to kind of kind of think about, and then even just how you just touch on the players. Can you give whatever we can't obviously give away everything right now. We're still building the team and putting everything together, but what are some things that we're looking for in bringing on some of these players, like maybe skill attributes, anything that you're looking for when we add them to the team?
So just look into like the criteria that we have is a mixture of players who play small-sided football and who've played 11 side. And the reason for that is 11 side brings structure. If you play the 11 side regularly, you play at the pro level or semi-pro level, it brings structure, positional play, and just the ability to work out game management as well. Small-sided football is much faster, much quicker. You got to think on your feet.
Mhm.
So we're trying to create a balance, which in itself is a challenge, especially because it's the time frame that we have. I would love to have had the year to put a team together and then bring them together and get them to
Yeah.
play. Um, and that's the challenge that we have. But I think we were um, quite solid in what we wanted in terms of the players and the characteristics. Because once you've got good character individuals, you can then build a team around it. So in terms of like the players I'm looking at is hopefully we can make the announcements in the coming weeks as well. Players who got small side experience at both a competitive in competition level, but also national level as well. So the kind of caliber
Right.
of player we're looking for is someone who understands how to play in tournaments, how to play with different sets of people, how to play against different types of opposition. Someone who's got that experience that's going to bring it together. Then we're looking at some young cats who are just fearless, who will go out, you can bring
Yeah.
on, and just they make a mistake, they just brush it off and gone. So we're looking at the seasoned individuals, the veterans. I would say veterans in terms of they're still active, they're still playing, but they understand the game. They understand that a loss isn't a loss, or conceding the goal, you don't let heads drop. We need to have people who are able to just play until the final whistle, but then once play without fear, they make a mistake, they go again. And I think that's it's almost like it's hard to talk about names because I don't want to give too much away right now.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
the kind of criteria we're looking at is that mixture between youth and experience and the small sided game and the 11 side game.
I love that. You also mentioned something there about. So my question is, what is the biggest challenge that you think we have when you kind of have to build this team from scratch? Because you mentioned that, oh, wait, hey, it would have been great to have a whole year. So do you think that the biggest challenge is just like the time is so shortened, or do you think maybe there's something else when you're trying to put this team together from scratch to go play for $1 million?
I can list the whole criteria of challenges. Location being one where players are currently based. They
Mm,
won't be in one like central location. In Europe, everyone's in season at the moment in terms of the pro and the semi-pro game. So they're playing matches at the moment, and the players we're speaking with are active, but with respective teams. So that in terms of the challenge of bringing everyone together, that you have to find we have to find different ways and around these challenges. And I think the biggest, like I said,
Right.
I think for me the biggest thing is having the relationships is important. So having these like the pre-existing relationship with us is when we're trying to put the team together, because they understand where we're coming from and understand what the platforms are trying to do as well. Like I have a lot of like a lot of the players are currently playing in pro and semi-pro football have relationship with, and they know about the Desi Borders platform. So they know what I'm
Right.
about and what I'm trying to achieve. It's not something I'm coming out the blue when I'm approaching them. It's something that is of value and could be of value. And I think that's how we overcome certain challenges in terms of if we can't get everyone in one location, there's different communication. But also, it's England is not such a big place that I can't go out and go see them. So being in different parts of the country, but it's
Right.
just really, I think the time frame we have is one challenge, and the I guess is um we're how we're communicating. We're not in the same room, although we're talking virtually. It would be much more amazing if it was all in like in a war room together, getting all these things sorted and like, really
Yeah,
building that
for
kind of
sure.
vibe. But I guess the kind of thing that we found and the solution we found that in the conversation that we've had, it it almost didn't require us together for us to align together. So we know it's possible to do how we're doing it in terms of this methodology. And I think we just carry that on with the players, and that comes again from the culture that we come from and we're trying to build. And then when we're going out to speak to the players and what we're going to do in terms of preparation for these 3 4 months, that's the vibe we're going to give. So hopefully that's going to work in our favor. And when everyone gets together at our training camp before the tournament, that's going to be an amazing opportunity to take that the relationship we've built over this time, bring them everyone together, align them, and I think
Right.
it should be enough time. We'll just treat it like we're one of the nations taking part in the World Cup. They only get together a week before or 2 weeks before the tournament starts, and then it's just like
Exactly. That's the mindset.
that's what we're going to do. So we have challenges, but we're also looking at solutions as well to overcome them as well.
I love that. Let me ask you one more question based on the team. I'm kind of putting you on the spot, so I apologize, but I know you have a good answer, and I'm sure you guys have talked about it internally with the other coaches. When you look at Brown Ballers FC, and let's say TST is done, we went there, we played. Let's just say the tournament's over. What do you want our identity, or what do you want people to say or know about us, or how do you want them to talk about us when it's like play style or the culture we build or the mentality of the players? Like, what is that you want it to? What do you want Brown Ballers FC to be about?
Winners, ultimately, that'll be the ultimate one, isn't it? That we ball out and we take the
Hmm.
prize, and then we get talked about, and that's history right there, right? Which would be the
Facts. Yep.
pinnacle. I think overall, I want the world to see what we already know, that we have the talent, we have good ballers that can play across divisions, across leagues. For me, in the way I've covered sport and the way I've covered football, is not to say that everyone had to be at Premier League standard. You can still ball out in your own respective leagues and divisions, whether it is in like in League One, in League Two. There's players who've played 300-400 league games across the course of a career. That's a winner career in respect to that
Right.
individual. But like I said, I want the world to see what we already know. That's the way I put it. That we have talent, and
That's the best way to put it.
ultimately give us if season one don't work for TST, bring us to season two, and we'll come back for the victory.
Watch us improve. No, I
And
love that.
the great thing is also
I'm
in the I
really
guess in the run up to the World Cup as well, that North America is hosting next year,
yep. 2026. Yep.
2026. I'm really interested to see what kind of like soccer fever there is in the states that's lining up or
That's
gearing up
true.
towards, because obviously the World Club Cup is happening in the states, and then the World Cup is happening the following year. So there is these big tournaments happening in the states. I just want to see what that culture is like here, because I'm so used to what the culture in UK and Europe is like. But from my perspective, I'm like, well,
Right.
what how do you
It's
guys feel
different.
about it? I've seen the videos, I've seen the fan parks when they had the Premier League fan parks and everything else, and I know that there's good coverage out there in the states. But I want to see with my own eyes like what this kind of passion and love for the game is.
Yeah, you got to see it to believe it. No, I'm definitely excited for that. And obviously, like the build up to the World Cup. Um, I feel like this is gonna be really good. Like this series we're doing, kind of just talking, creating this relationship, talking about the team, and of course, as things start to continue to grow and unfold, announcing some players, bringing some players on this, bringing the other coaches on, just kind of just letting everyone come and have a voice and kind of really show what we're doing and building. I think that excites me, and I'm sure the community and the fans around everything that we're doing, people are going to enjoy that. The next couple episodes, or not even episodes, next couple times we link up and we do this. Hopefully, I don't want to tease too much, but hopefully we'll have some player announcements. We'll have some details on training camp. We'll have some other cool updates for everyone. But is there anything you want to tease or leave, to the fans watching about what's coming up as we kind of go through the next few months leading up to TST?
Ooh, good question. Good question. I think what I'm looking for, I guess, most is to build this community on the social platforms as well. I want more people to get involved and ask us questions and get involved in that sense. And obviously, we're looking at players on the side, but we're also looking for to build a support as well. We're looking for a fan base, I guess, for the team. So that's what I want to see. I want us to start building that a fan base. So hopefully we're both open to questions on our platforms and also on if there's any comments,
Mhm.
just leave them below. Let us know what you're thinking,
Yes,
and hopefully like we're doing this in a way to ensure that this momentum build as well because there's a lot of hard work going on behind the scenes, but it's a great way for us to I guess show the world that there's work going on, but also that we're accessible and available as well to to tell the story.
I love that. Honestly, I want to just double down on what you said. Whether you want to DM Brown Ballers or Daisy Ballers on IG or just comment on this YouTube video, questions, thoughts, ideas, anything, just so we have more stuff to kind of bring to you guys and create around. That'd be great. Like you said, I love that you said that because you're right. We need to build like this kind of like just engaged, excited fan base around this football team, and hopefully, bring fans to Cary. I heard Cary, North Carolina, also has like a good like South Asian or just Indian population. So over the next few months, I want to figure out how to tap that because these games, we need to get those fans out there.
And tell us what's good in Kerry. Tell us what's good. What can we expect?
Yeah, please.
Anyone from out there, tell us what's good.
Yeah, please tell us what's good. Man, this was good, bro. I'm excited for this. This is again only one of many episodes coming out soon. Follow Brown Ballers, follow Daisy Ballers. They got a lot of content coming, a lot of collabs and good stuff. Z man, I know we're like 7 hours apart in time zones, but I appreciate you, bro. And I'm looking forward to building like all this out and this team, this mission, and all these platforms together because I do think like some big things are coming for sure.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you too. And again, this goes to yourself and everyone else involved with Brown Ballers. Loving everything that you're doing, and just want to see that platform grow and grow and grow to like heights that even that you can't expect. That's what I want to see.